turns. White-blue turns is a great name for this deck. White-blue turns against Boo. But are we not rooting for Joe? I think I'm rooting against Joe.
It doesn't matter.
Not
I'm happy either way.
All right.
I want to see some turns
All
be
right.
taken. If they're Wilson's turns, that's fine. If it's Joe's turns, so that's fine.
Blue-white turns, not white-blue turns, please.
Just some good turns.
Island go. Uh-oh. The jig is going to be up pretty fast here.
This is a good turn.
Yeah. Here is an Inquisition of Kozilek against the old turns deck. Now, Joe is going to, got to read some of these probably. I don't know, he's a vendor. He probably knows most of them. Couple of islands. A Dictative Crew Fix is very important to take away from this deck. Looks like Wilson has 2 in his hand. I believe a Part the Water Veil, couple copies of Time Warp. I love it. All right. Let's go back over Wilson's way. He'll draw. Play an island, pass the turn back. I think he drew a Remand. Spicy.
Ooh.
Duress, huh? Bernal will sacrifice a Verdant Catacombs. Search up a land. Get himself a basic forest.
I would not have predicted I would be lucky enough to cover turns this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Here's Dark Confidant.
No.
Your favorite.
It is my favorite.
An island, and now didn't get a great look. I think it may have been a Cryptic Command.
Ooh.
What do we have here? Liliana of the Veil. That's probably fine. You got to get that Dictate out there. Sure. Gonna plus. Time for players to discard. All right. There goes Part the Water Veil. End step, Dictative Crew Fix. We'll take a look. Trigger. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. So it's kind of an instant speed Howling Mine that does provide a little bit of devotion if you're going that route.
And it is no small deal here that this card has flash, because the problem with some of the Howling Mine effects is your opponent gets to go first. With Dictate having flash, you can usually engineer it so you're the one going first. Also, it's really sweet when you're taking a bunch of extra turns.
True. True.
So it's really synergistic with the whole taking turns thing.
Liliana is going up. Let's see where this will take us. I'm doing an abrupt decay count. Only 2 for Joe this weekend.
2 more on the board, which is nice.
All right, that's important. Wilson's ready to discard. And Joe will be discarding the Liliana as well. And Cryptic Command and Scavenging Ooze will bite the dust.
I think Wilson at this point is trying to be redundant with the turn-taking effects here. Might be able to go off as soon as next turn. This deck can go off from a relatively low base.
Here's a Duress. I think he wants to slide in maybe another Dictate. I want to get another Dictate out there if possible.
For sure.
Oh, he's going to let it resolve with 2 Time Warps? Yeah, I want to get the other Dictate out there. You just want to flood yourself on cards, especially when they have Liliana.
2 Dictates in play and a Time Warp in hand. That's a recipe for going off.
Mm-hmm.
I know this. I've seen it. Many a hotel room.
See, now he's got to draw a 5th land. There's no guarantee of that. Yep. That's why I kind of want the 3rd Dictate out there. Dark Confidant's going to reveal. Now a couple of draw steps on the way.
And even if you miss with you don't get land number 5 that turn, the Dictate does so much to insulate yourself from Liliana. You just have leftovers you can discard. It's not even really a factor at that point.
Another discard spell here for Joe. Yep, Inquisition. Here's a Remand. Wilson will draw a card. I think we're going to see Joe cast Inquisition again, though, yeah.
But at this point, U's hand may not have anything to take.
And it does not. Cryptic Command, 2 Time Warps, and a Part the Water Veil. Somebody needs a 5th land.
And on the other side of the table, Bernal could really use an Abrupt Decay.
Yes. Time for players to discard. There goes a Swamp. There goes Cryptic Command. Bernal's follow-up might be old Tarmogoyf. It is. Dark Confidant may not be attacking. We'll see. We're going to do a quick count to see how big Tarmogoyf is here. And get out the old Tarmo die. 6-7. Now here comes Dark Confidant. They're playing Blackleaf Cliffs. Draw 1. Draw 2. And Flooded Strand. All right, let's go.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Time to take some turns.
Let's do this.
Be hard to cover this spot without us being able to hurl pejoratives at our online opponent like we did.
Yeah, it's not as much fun. No, not as much fun, but we'll make the best of it. Here's Time Warp. Target.
Whose turn is it again?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Me.
It's my turn.
It's me. Okay. Draw a card. You got to be careful with how you draw. You got Temporal Mastery in the deck. Giga Drowse is one of the cards drawn. There's a Flooded Strand. Yep. Sacrifice that. It's good sequencing. Like that. Get a Hallowed Fountain probably.
Or just a...
Boom.
Sure. I guess you'd prefer to draw islands and thin out the Hallowed Fountains, but whatever.
Absolutely. All right, we got a little something brewing here. A little something cooking. We need another way to draw cards. Sleeve broke. It's a good way to get in your opponent's head.
Yeah.
Break one of their sleeves while you shuffle their deck. Now you're in there.
Especially since you're just F8ing out of the game. It's really, honestly, the only line that Bernal has available to him.
He's found it.
Yeah.
He's found it. As crafty players typically do. Little sleeve repair. So 2 cards a turn. Exhaustion, not great right now. Giga Drowse, not great. Really, you need to stop the Liliana of the Veil from going ultimate, I think.
Yeah, even Cryptic Command would be totally serviceable
Yeah,
here.
it'd be okay. Untap. 2 cards on the way. Temporal Masteries? Gotta be careful how you draw that card. It does have a land. Prairie Stream. All right, part the Water Veil.
Sweet.
He is out of those now. Remember, that one exiles itself. Draw 2. Okay. No Temporal Mastery yet. This is Serum Visions. Yep. Draw a card. Scry 2.
Ooh, that's a turn on
That's
top.
A Time Warp
Ooh.
up top. Can we keep going? There's a land. Exhaustion says yes. But Liliana is still here. Dark Confidant, trigger, Thoughtseize. And now draw a couple of cards will Bernal because of the Dictate and the draw step. Lightning Bolt and Tarmogoyf added to Joe's grip. I think you cash it in. Some unfamiliar territory for Bernal, I'm sure. All right, there's Liliana.
I mean, at this point, you've found so many extra cards over these extra turns that I think going up with Liliana again is unlikely to be disruptive, certainly when compared to 4 Stone Rains.
Now I guess the question is which pile does the Dictate go into? But he has 8 lands, so there's just not a great split here.
Yeah, I mean, imagine, is it 3 lands Dictate against 5 lands?
Yeah, I could see that because I think the goal is just to get rid of the Dictate.
Well, I mean, you're splitting anyway. You do a 4 and 4 plus the Dictate. He gets 4 lands and a Dictate.
Yeah.
Oh, it's interesting though. It looks like Bernal is contemplating. Does you need to have white mana to win the game? Because it looked like he was contemplating a split of 5 islands and Dictate against the 3 blue-white duels.
Well, he does not need white mana to win game 1.
Right. You could say, and Bernal ultimately went a different path with it, but it looked like there was a contemplation on Bernal's part. Like, maybe you can't win the game without these white duels, because he was considering an odd split there. But I think he went with the easiest one, which is just 4 lands and all the white duels against 4, plus the dictate.
Joe will play a Thoughtseize, take care of a Giga Drowse. Wilson will be left with a Giga Drowse and a Flooded Strand. And we are going to head over to his turn here in just a moment. Looks like I imagine Tarmogoyf will crash in too, because that's what Tarmogoyf does. Bang. Wilson will draw 1, 2. Okay.
So he's got a Time Warp, and I believe a 5th land. So that's something.
Miko Koru is one of them, so here's Time Warp. Any Temporal Masteries? Nope. There's Miko Koru, Center of the Sea, a.k.a. Jerry Thompson's favorite Magic card. A Flooded Strand, a Snapcaster Mage into Exhaustion. All right. That's a makeshift Time Walk. Raging Ravine, draw, and draw. Exhaustion actually looks pretty good here.
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite a Time Walk. He's not getting 2 cards for his trouble, but it's not shabby.
Wilson, you will sacrifice a Flooded Strand.
And now if you can chain these turns together, he's got a way to win the game. He's hitting for 2 a shot now as well. We're approaching Snapcaster Mage on Time Warp territory also.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Draw from the Dictate. No. Draw.
But the Giga Drowses are good here too.
Giga Drowses are good. Giga Drowses are definitely good. Prairie Stream. Momentarily, yes. Oh, he's got the Ink Moth. Little column A, little column B. Pass. Maybe. No, he's got the Giga Drowse. I was going to say maybe we're out of gas, but we're not. Reveal Tarmogoyf. Down to 13 goes Bernal. Might be a draw step Giga Drowse.
There's also the option here where Wilson really wants to activate Mikokoro and try to find something.
True.
A little risky, though, because Bernal has looked at a lot of extra cards over these turns. And if you doesn't stop him in combat, it's possible that you can just get bolted out of this game also.
Huh, interesting.
And Bernal can just enter combat right here. And if you uses the Giga Drowse, well, then suddenly you can animate the Raging Ravine and attack with that.
Yep. Also very true.
So I think at this point, really all Bernal can do is say, all right, ball's in your court, declare attackers, and just see
what's going to happen.
What is you up to?
How's it going to shake out?
Oh, Mikokoro into, I was hoping for a miracle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love this deck.
I heard people used to hate Miracle as a mechanic. I love Miracle. I mean, I love it.
Yep. Hey, it's a game of Magic. Your draw step has different value at different times. You know, this is already what the game is.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
There's Giga Drowse for 4. Looks like Bernal might have a couple cups of Lightning Bolt. You might be dead this turn. Not sure.
It looks like you is tapping him out of combat, though. He's targeting the ravines and the creatures.
Okay. Uh-oh. Joe found an Abrupt Decay. This just got real hard.
And for me, really the critical part of this game was Yu's decision not to put the set and Dictate into play.
Yep.
Being able to take all the turns with 2 dictates in play versus 1, it's a lot more reliable, even if you have to give up a time warp. And it also meant if Bernal found an Abrupt Decay, then you're basically starting from scratch, and now we're here.
And 1 card per turn for this deck, not so much.
And maybe you can cobble together with Miko Koro as well, but that's a hard way to do it.
Well, both players will draw. There's Serum Visions. Exhaustion could be found and be okay. But again, Bernal does have a Lightning Bolt and a very large Tarmogoyf. And that would probably close this game out for Wilson Yu if that's the case. Yeah, and that is going to do it. So Joe Bernal is going to win game number 1 here over Wilson Yu. Jund going to do Jund things up a game here over a blue-white turns.
Have some sweet moments. Look like you're on the cusp of taking all the turns and then don't. I remember that. You and I spent many evenings.
We did a lot of that. Whole bunch of that.
Comfortably holed up in our hotel room.
One could argue we did too much of that.
Just screaming profanity at the top of our lungs against our digital opponent, who obviously can't hear us. I'm having some nostalgia for last year.
Flashbacks?
Yeah, I'm having some flashback here.
Well, we are going to take a look at the sideboards here for both players. And we will start with Wilson Yu, who has 2 Engineer Explosives, 3 Chalice of the Void, a Narset Transcendent, 2 Supreme Verdicts, 3 Ghostly Prisons, and 4 Leyline of Sanctities. Leyline's got to be pretty good.
I like Leyline in the matchup. I like his copies of Supreme Verdict, and the Narset also seems great here.
Yeah, I think there's some real cards to bring in.
Definitely.
Don't really like Remand in his main deck for this matchup because the discard's just 1 mana.
And with the addition of Supreme Verdict, with the ability to interact with the table, it lowers the need for cards like Giga Draft, which are not great against decks that are picking apart your hand with discard.
For Joe, 4 Full Mage, 2 more Abrupt Decays, 3 Collective Brutality, 4 Surgical Extraction, and 2 Grab Trigger Sketch. I think he's got some good weapons.
Yeah, the 2 extra copies of Abrupt Decay are great here since he needs to fight Dictate. The 3 copies of Collective Brutality, they're a little mopey, but I'll take any discard spell I can get my hands on. And with you showing non-basics in a second color, I'm bringing in those 4 Fulminator Mages as well. You needs a lot of mana to be able to do his thing. So if Bernal's able to tag him with a Stone Rain at all, it's a huge win.
Now, typically when we see Joe Bernal, we see him casting Stoneforge Mystic. Guy loves that card. He loves Back to Basics and Legacy. He just loves Legacy. And, well, fortunately, Star City Games is going to be able to give Joe a nice tournament to play in. That'll be Grand Prix Louisville, which will be Legacy at the beginning of 2017. You can learn more about that tournament right now.
On January 6th through the 8th, make plans to be part of Magic the Gathering history when StarCityGames.com proudly presents Grand Prix Louisville. Register by December 9th for the Legacy format main event to compete for thousands of dollars in prizes and receive an exclusive playmat featuring Legacy staple and Kaladesh invention, Lotus Petal. Select the 3-day Infinite Challenge package to compete in all challenge events for one low price, while also walking away with the exclusive Lotus Petal playmat. All Friday challenges are also Grand Prix trials. Come out early and compete for buys in the main event and more chances to claim a Lotus Petal playmat. Prefer 100-card formats? Register for the Ultimate Commander package to play in 4 Commander on-demand events and take home a Commander vs. playmat and Ultimate Guard flip-and-tray deck case. And don't forget to come say hello to Grand Prix Louisville's many special guests, including cosplayer Christine Sprinkle and an artist alley full of fan favorites headlined by guest of honor Rob Alexander. Be part of Magic the Gathering history. Register for Grand Prix Louisville today.
January 6th through the 8th. Grand Prix Louisville, hosted by Star City Games. We hope to see you there for a little Legacy action, maybe a little Commander, the Command Zone, brought to you by the awesome people over at Ultimate Guard as well. I'm going to be there.
Louisville is a good way to sound like a tourist when you roll into town.
Louisville.
There you go.
Am I saying it wrong? Yeah, I'm saying Louisville, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Louisville.
Louisville, Kentucky.
That's not it. I promise that's not it.
Site of the Grand Prix.
Louisville.
There you go.
Been a minute. Been a minute.
You got it.
I'm going to go there.
Now you got it.
I'm going to go there and get myself a hot brown, which is a real thing.
Sweet.
It's their known sandwich.
Okay.
A hot brown. Going to be a delight in Louisville.
Do you know what? Do you know the University of Louisville, where the basketball team? Do you know the name of the arena they play in?
I really, as soon as you tell me, I'll know it.
They play at the KFC Yum Center.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yum, all capital letters with an exclamation point.
Really good.
That is some painful branding.
And you're already doing some branding.
Yes, I am. I'm just imagining the administrators at the university looking at the amount of money that KFC offered and just finally going, all right, fine, whatever. Fine, name it whatever you want.
You're priced in. There's no saying no. Welcome to the Yum Center.
Yeah. Some KFC. That is bleak.
I know where I'm going to dinner tonight.
Yeah.
That marketing's already working.
Yep. That is a bleak intersection of public and private economics right there.
Got to get myself a double down.
Yeah.
And if I really feel like it, triple down. It's been a long day here in the booth, which isn't true at all. We've
I'm
only
sorry.
covered 4
I'm
rounds.
sorry. If you had a thing developing with KFC, you didn't tell, you didn't tell me. You didn't tell me
Had a
about.
little something brewing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just lost that sponsor too. So.
Yep.
Thanks, Patrick.
Well, this was true of a couple of years ago. I didn't look it up recently, but one of my best friends is from Louisville originally. Recently moved back there, and he told me about this fact with some embarrassment.
The Grand Prix. I will promise to work on that. I do apologize. That's on me.
You got to fit in when you're out of town. It's important.
That's on me. Wilson Yu will take a look at his opening hand with his blue-white turn stack. Joe Bernal will wait patiently with his non-fun discard strategy, otherwise known as Jund.
Selfish Joe over here looking to take roughly 50% of the turns.
Yep. Just really uncalled for and rude. We're underway. It's a prairie stream.
I do remember Inquisition and Tarmogoyf Life being extremely difficult for the turn stack to defeat.
Of course.
Extremely difficult.
And really hoping they never drew Abrupt Decay.
I was barely hanging on by a thread to begin with.
Yeah.
I can't handle this level of disruption and pressure.
It's not great when, if your opponent starts off with an Overgrown Tomb, you get upset.
I can't beat any of your cards.
No.
You need to have
none
a hand
of
of
them.
nothing but Terminates and Bolts.
Yep.
And even then, only so many Bolts.
Here is Thoughtseize.
Like, I need you to have 1, but not 2. And also not 0. It needs to be 1.
Not a great pairing for Wilson Yu. Thoughtseize is going to take care of, I believe, a Dictate.
Someone really likes going to game day.
A Textless card.
It is tough to keep. It would be tough to keep up with the cards under the best of circumstances. We don't see turns a whole lot. You and I have more experience than most.
We love a good turn strategy. There's a Flooded Strand. Going to get a Hollowed Fountain. Double white, not going to be an issue for you this game.
Perhaps speaking too soon. Remember, Bernal with the 4 copies of Fulminator Mage in the sideboard, and I'm willing to bet they came in.
I was thinking it might be a third sleeve going down there for Wilson. If I see another sleeve go down, we're running an Ultimate Guard commercial.
Yep. That's the way to do it.
Just going to get that out there.
Unless they're Ultimate Guard
That's
sleeves.
not it. No, they're not.
And then we just go to commercial.
Yeah. Here is Collective Brutality. A Dictate, Supreme Verdict. Looks like a Part the Waterville and a Prairie Stream. All right. Another one bites the dust.
Prairie Stream is interesting. I struggle to believe that it is better than Mystic Keep.
You can fetch for Prairie Stream.
Sure.
That's a point in its favor.
No,
I'm
that's
with
true.
you.
That's true. That matters.
Ooh, no Dictate. Love it. Playing around Abrupt Decay. Love it. Joe has Abrupt Decay. You want to play this standoff game?
Yeah. Bernal's thrilled to play a standoff
That's true,
game.
yeah. That's just true. Here's Tarmogoyf. Fine, Supreme Verdict that away.
It's very hard for you to do anything of note without a way to get the ball rolling.
It's very true.
So as long as Bernal can avoid the Dictate from entering the battlefield or just kill it before you do anything, well, That, I believe, is a winning recipe for Bernal.
Tarmogoyf's going to play the role of fun police here, as it oftentimes does. In for 3. It is an interesting situation here for Joe because how deep does he want to extend when you know your opponent does have Supreme Verdict in hand?
Yep.
All right.
Well, I'm guessing this is the end of the road.
Yeah, I think we'll see Verdict now.
Right,
Yeah.
and Bernal wouldn't extend any further into it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And this all just might be a trap here for Bernal to be able to resolve Liliana the Veil.
I think you might be right. I think you are right. I think he used Twilight Mire, so he's good on black mana. Stick it up.
If Bernal can keep up 2 mana and Abrupt Decay and attack, use hand, it's so hard for him to be able to win through the combo.
And if Joe is discarding Inquisition, not even interested in even taking a look, I know Inquisition isn't as good as Thoughtseize in this matchup, but if he is discarding Inquisition to Liliana, that is a sign of strength, my friend.
Use deck is critical mass. He needs his mana, he needs the time walks, he needs the card drawing spells. It's all the same. So the risk of whiffing on Inquisition is just too high. Just get rid of that. Bernal can just go Liliana up to 7 this way, Stone Rain you a bunch of times, do it again, and eventually Raging Ravine will clean this thing up.
And Joe's going to discard a Liliana. Here's Dictate. That's dead. Yeah, it's time to. Yeah, we're all set. There's no getting out of this here for Wilson, and that is going to do it. Joe Bernal is going to win this match here over Wilson Yu, 2-0. John is going to take care of blue-white turns, and the reason for that's pretty simple. Blue-white turns does not have a good matchup here.
No, discard spells, pressure, interaction with Dictative Crewfix. It's a lot. I think there is a path for you to win the first game. Like you and I were discussing, I think he needs to just put that second Dictate into play, lose the Time Warp, and hope to go off with 1 Time Warp plus draw 3 cards a turn. I think that you would rather have more Dictates and fewer Time Walks than the other way around when you decide to go off, because the Howling Mind effects exponent over time. It's just much more development and much more looks at your Time Walks. And losing that Dictate there in the first game was critical. The second game, not a whole lot you can do. Mulligan wasn't able to get off the ground, and Bernal had a good draw. And
realistically, I don't want to say that game 1 is how everything plays out, but he had a Dictate.